Okay, the first step, what we're going to do is we have to take our fresh picked dill that I picked this morning from my own herb garden, and we gotta cut some of it up and cut it off the stalks. This is to go onto the shrimp. So what you do is you want to just trim it off, each of the stalks, with a very sharp knife, just to make sure that you get most of it off. And you want to try to get as little as the stem as you can. Okay? So we're going to do this very quickly. If you do end up getting any of the big pieces of stem in here, what you can do is you can just real quick trim it out and pull it out. What you can do is you can also just run your knife right down and it pulls right off. If you don't have fresh dill that you have in your own garden, you can pre-purchase it from a supermarket or a farmer's market, whatever you might have close by. And just getting the aroma from it, from fresh cut, is just wonderful enough that it'll actually pick up through your kitchen. And with our recipe, you want about a half a cup to 3/4 of a cup of the fresh sliced dill weed or dill itself. And you want to be very careful when you are cutting that you don't have any children trying to reach their hands in, or if they are helping, they do make specialty knives that are made that are kid friendly, that are plastic, but they are very sharp, so that the children can actually help make this dish. This can be made ahead of time if you are to do any tailgating, stuff like that. So now, as you can see, what I did was I did remove it all from the stalks pretty quickly. I'm going to take, and I just want to kind of mince it up a little bit to make smaller pieces. Now you don't want to do it too fast or too hard, because you don't want to really bruise it. You just want to cut through it, kind of like a salad. Because it's actually nicer when you have larger chunks on the barbecue dill shrimp. So as you can see, it's nice. Now when that gets into the olive oil and mix, it'll actually thin it out and separate a little bit more. Okay, so as you can see, got about a little bit more than 3/4 of a cup, but that's when it's not packed down. So when it's packed down, it actually fills in nicely. Now we're going to prep our shrimp to get ready for putting it in the olive oil and everything. So you take your shrimp that, as you can see here, it's been pre-cooked. It is also already deshelled and deveined, but they still have tail on. These are actually 31-40 size shrimp. In the recipe it says 21 to 24, which you can use that if you want a little bit larger. If you're going to be serving a lot more people, you can do the 31 to 34, which then you actually get more shrimp out of it for less money. So what you do is you have your shrimp that are pre-cooked, deshelled, deveined, tail on. Just do it real quick. Take your tail, remove the tail from the shrimp itself. Real quick and easy. This way you're prepping your shrimp for the olive oil dill mixture for the sauce. While you're doing this, you can also be soaking your wooden skewers in water to get them ready for the shrimp. Any questions, I will post a link to the recipe. Very easy to follow instructions. So as you can see how fast I'm actually going through these, and just pull the tail off, pops right off, real good, real quick and easy. Okay, our next step is we have to assemble the kind of marinade dip for the shrimp itself. So what you want to do is you want to get a medium to large mixing bowl. a 1 cup measuring cup. You're going to do an extra virgin olive oil. As you can see here, don't want to show the brand obviously because that's what they do on all the shows, and I'm not paying out royalties. So what I'm going to do, it's a brand new bottle, so you pop that. You want 2 to 2.5 cups of extra virgin olive oil. And like our friend Justin Wilson always said, you can fudge it just a little bit, you know, I guarantee. So there's about 2 cups, maybe a little bit more, of extra virgin olive oil. Get that into a nice bowl. Get rid of your measuring cup. You can take a nice little measuring spoon or a fork, or if you prefer your hands, what you then do is you take your dill, and a little bit at a time, you take the dill, and you just slowly mix it in. So this is where you're going to be getting your barbecue dill. The barbecue is because you're actually cooking it on the barbecue. It's not as in a barbecue sauce as some people think. So as you can see, it's becoming like a nice mix like this. I'll take the last bit, put that in, mix that. Now, the original recipe didn't have what I'm going to add in next, and I kind of tweaked it. I did talk to the author of the original recipe, Kim Eldridge, and I told her how much it actually changed it. It's actually made it really nice. You want to take a lemon lime squeezer, and you take just your normal lime, give it a good squeeze and just zest it to put it in. There's a little bit there. Get rid of that one. And the second half. And you mix that up a little bit. It adds just a nice little bit of zing to it, not much. But I found that it adds just a nice little touch, nothing bad. Now, you then take your shrimp that you've already pulled the tails off of. Now I have right over here, I actually have my skewers in water. They've been sitting for about a half an hour, 40 minutes. Nothing major. I'll get rid of the smoke. And you have your normal wooden skewer. Figure you're probably going to get about 5 to 6 shrimp on one of these skewers. So you toss them into the mix with your hand. And just kind of toss them around. Pull them out. Run a skewer over it. Now it doesn't look like you're getting a lot of the dill and the olive oil on this. Trust me, it's there. But you're also going to be setting this dill and olive oil mix aside. And this is going to become your timer while you have it on the grill. Okay, so as you see, I got 4 on there. I got a little bit extra on the end here. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of spread them out a little bit, just to give a little bit of room. So you get 5 per skewer. So I still have 3 in there, so let's toss 2 more into that mix. Okay, always best to add a couple extra skewers to your water because you never know how many you're going to actually be able to fit onto your skewer. Okay. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3. It's like a swamp in there. Now I feel like I should be on the episode of Swamp People rooting around in the dill weed in the thing. So I got 5 there. I'm just going to take a little bit extra, toss it on. Nothing big. Set it off to the side. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mix them around, toss them a little bit. So really, you're just coating them, nothing big. So now I'm gonna pause the video and skip ahead just a little bit because it's kind of boring just sitting here watching someone just do all this. Now we're going to bring these out here onto the grill and do them over a low heat, which brings it about 400 degrees when you have it set that way. You can do these on a campfire, you can do them on a fire pit, any way you want. For benefit of doubt, we're going to do it onto the grill today. Now, there's no real timer on this, as in like putting on for 5 minutes or 7 minutes or anything like that. You open your grill, which you've already preheated on low. I've actually turned my front burner off, so I only have my back and my middle burner on low, but I'm going to put the shrimp over in the front here, just so it's over closer to this. So what you do is you just line your shrimp nice and neat, right on your grill like this. Now you don't want to cook them, you're just heating them. So that's why you want to do it over the low heat. If you do it over a campfire, you want to move your embers over just enough to the point to where it's not over the direct heat, but more the indirect heat. Now the reason why I said you're not leaving them on as a timer wise, you're then using your leftover oil and dill, and this is your timer. What you do is you take your extra and you just basically brush more onto it. If you want less dill when you do it, you can do that. It's all in the taste of the person. Every now and then you will get a flare up because of the olive oil itself does ignite. Okay, so you go across them one time. You then take your tongs, or if you want to reach in on your own, you just flip them over. Okay, then you repeat with your sauce again, and this is basically your timer. Okay, then what I do is I do it one time across, and with my grill I like to play with the heat. So what I'll do is I will close this to let the indirect heat bring across and around onto the top. Now, as you can see, I'm going to pull it open again. I've adjusted my heat a little bit to compensate for the shrimp. And what you do is this is why you have tongs. Because if you don't want to reach in when the fire is actually flaring like that, because that can burn you. And you don't want to let the children do this section. If you want to let them do the dipping the shrimp into the mix and stuff like that, that's perfectly fine. But please, only adults do the part over the grilling itself. Now they're starting to get very nicely nice and toasty cooked. Okay, so we probably won't have to use as much of the oil mixture this time because they're starting to cook nicely. So now I only have the middle heat on. I got the front and the back off completely. I'm just going to do one last. I'm going to cut these off, and then what you do is you get them and you bring them back out to your little tray, and your shrimp are basically done. You can serve them right from the grill, or you can take them off the skewers and put them on a plate for people to pick as they want. It just depends on how you're in the mood of serving them. And that's basically the BBQ Dill Shrimp. Thank you for watching. There are credits that will give you information, a link to the recipe, and also a link to the cookbook that I got this recipe from by Kim Eldridge, who's also known as the Outdoor Princess. Thank you very much.